I'm Dave from Rampant Wolf Games, here with...
Chris from Deus Ex Machina.
And today we're going to be talking about top 5 games that should have never, ever seen the light of day.
Now, what's your reasoning for this one? Because mine is going to be a little different.
My reasoning was 2.
Just 2. My reasoning is 2.
2.
What do you mean 2? That's for you to find out. Just 2.
Just 2.
Not 1, not 3.
My reasoning is 49.
Not 1, not 3, not 4, not 5. 2.
Yeah. Either the game is so goddamn horribly awful that it should not be ever been made, or it is just so out there and on the fringe of just whoo. That's NSFW to the extreme.
I went looking for NSFW games, and none of them bothered me to the extent of this shouldn't exist. There is one exception.
My number 1 is that exception.
Mine's actually number 5. My reasoning is different. None of these games, I think, are wholly awful. Because we can list, eventually we will, like our top 20 or top 100 worst games we've ever played. We'll do a top 5 worst games, period, that we've ever played. So every time we have a list that seems to be a list where you get to rant off in games you hate, I make a point of not including those games. Because...
I did too.
Well, we have another list.
Because the one game that I know...
we have another list as games we'll never play again. You would assume that would also be games we hate. And that has more games that I dislike. But even still, there are games on there that I do like that I will never play again. For really unusual reasons. So these are games that should never have been made for either... appropriateness, because it's a horrible marketing decision, or in situations where this should not have been a game.
Yeah.
For a very complicated reason. So every one of mine has a story.
Okay.
So my number 5 is more of a place marker than anything else, because it's a game called Go-Go Eskimo. It came out earlier this year.
I can't believe they used Eskimo.
Exactly. So there are a couple things. When we look up, if you look up top 10
slang phrases that should
no.
But
going to Pacific Gaming, you can look up a list like the top 10 either games that shouldn't have been made, or top 10 like racist games, or games that are just totally inappropriate. There are some horrible games.
Oh yeah.
But almost every one of these is like 30, 40, 50 years old. Like there are games you're like, boy, it's like when you watch old Warner Brothers cartoons or old Disney cartoons. You're like, oh, they did that. I forgot about that. And I like the fact that Disney is trying to erase that history, and Warner Brothers like, nope, yeah, we did it. We're not going to erase it. It's here. We will educate people about why it's wrong, but we're not going to erase that history from us, because I think it does a disservice. Disney is just like, I don't know what you're talking about. That didn't exist. So there are definitely horrifically inappropriate games that are just like
Catch Up by the Toe.
Yes, yeah, like a lot of those. But the thing about Go-Go Eskimo, it was made it got released in 2018.
I know, that's frightening.
And it was designed by Reiner Knizia. So not only is it a new game, it was designed by one of the world's most famous game designers, arguably probably in the top 5 of game designers in the world.
Was it after pot became legalized in Canada?
Well, Reiner Knizia is not Canadian.
But he might have came up here, got high, and then designed it.
Well, the thing is, yeah, okay, so anyway, no, because honestly, because it came out late 2018, you imagine at that point he would have, this game is not, very few people, the game's been out for a while, it's done by Reiner Knizia, and yet trying to get reviews out, there are very few reviews out for a game that's been out this long. Which means this game is not... Because even though it's Reiner Knizia, it's not done by companies... Like, Reiner Knizia is kind of a hired gun. Because unlike Ignacio Treves, whose name I can't pronounce, who is at Portal Games, all of his games are through Portal. And when you see the guy who designed Above and Below, he has
his own company.
He has his own company. Everything he does is under his label.
Yep.
But Reiner Knizia seems to just be... Even UA Rosenberg kind of does most of his games under a single label, but Reiner Knizia seems to be a hired gun. He seems to work with a lot of different people. So he works with another game company, I don't know their name, and designed this game. And that glore that lovingly actually shows the Esco Momo meeples through a blister pack in the packaging. And even on Tom Basil's video, there's 4 comments, and one comment talked about how inappropriate it is, and that comment has 35 comments on it. Because and so much so that I think Tom had to comment on it. I think later on about the inappropriateness, and I actually did a comment because I went to a big conversation with someone about whether or not it was racist or not, and I made a post on my Facebook asking, "Is this racist?"
Yes.
And a lot of and what was really interesting though is that there isn't a consensus. But the moment there isn't a consensus, I'm always going to be on the safe side. The thing is, I actually have a lot of First Nations and Aboriginals on my Facebook, and a lot of them didn't mind it. Oddly enough, some of them were like, "I'd rather you call me Eskimo than an Indian," and some were like, "No, I'm not an Eskimo because I'm not part of the 2 or 3 tribes that are associated with that term." And there are some people who are just like, "Yeah, it actually means like meat eater, so not terribly." And some people are just like, "Actually, it's based off a French word, so the etymology of the word is kind of up to debate." But it doesn't change the fact there are tons of people that look at it and go, "Yeah, it's like with the word. It's the Oriental, because Oriental, a lot of people who are older, even some people in my age
That's
bracket,
right. That one has gone away, hasn't it?
because Oriental used to be an okay word,
Yeah, no,
but it's not anymore.
It's Asian
Yeah, yeah. But the thing
or
is,
Pan-Asian.
But the thing is that was something that I would say that was a recent development, the last 20 years, where the word Oriental has moved away.
Yeah.
And moving now, it's not as derogatory as some of the ones that we will not mention here.
No.
But it doesn't change the fact that Eskimo is kind of following that same point, where in the last 10 or 20 years, it's moving that direction. So to have a guy who's well known release a game in 2018 that there was another game. What was another game that was Canadian based that had like the totem poles? Not Nova Scotia, but there are lots of games set on Canada, and almost every game that's set in Canada, you could tell was not designed by a Canadian. You're like, this is designed by a French guy who read it, who went to Wikipedia and went, "Hey, that'd be cool," and have like a little totem pole that go up and down. I'm like, oh, that's not really good, but this one was the one where I'm like, really? We're doing that, are we? Okay, but anyway, that's a game that should never have been made. Go
Fair
Eskimo.
enough.
I'm sure the game mechanics are fine, but yeah, I think someone needed a phone call to someone and say, just saying, this may not be the most appropriate title. So that's my number 5. Go Eskimo.
I don't think you can even say Inuit anymore, can you?
No, well, the problem is Inuit actually applies to a specific group of people.
Yeah.
So you can say it to that. If you say it, you can't just go up to a regular Aboriginal. So what are you, Inuit? You're like, no, you idiot.
Fair enough.
It's like, I think if you say it like that, then yeah, absolutely it's racist because you're being racist.
My number 5 is a game that should never have been made because what it was. Oh, is it? Are they guilty? So it's another Fantasy Flight foible.
Well, yeah, we can't.
They took a good game and they tried to make it smaller.
What is it?
Letters from Whitechapel was the game.
Oh,
the
yeah,
game,
I
and
know.
they made it smaller with Whitehall Mystery for less people. The only problem is by making it smaller, they also made the enjoyment of it smaller. There's no enjoyment in that game.
You know what? This is one of those situations where we will never play it again.
Yep.
Almost falls into the same category because there's a game that's like that on that list that I almost had on this list. And I took it off to make an argument for another one, but I can see there's another game that's like that as well where it's a big epic game. It's beautiful, a lot of components. You enjoy playing, and like, let's strip it down to 2-player game. And
I already know which one it is.
You know what it is.
Yep.
But that's not on this list. Because I can see the appeal of somebody wanting to play that.
But it's in your other list.
It's on my other list.
Okay, fair enough.
So anyway,
So yeah, Whitehall Mystery. We played it because I was like, oh, cool. We got only 3 people tonight. Let's try it. There was no point to that game. The players felt so frustrated by it because there was just no point to the game. It was just like, well, are you here? No. Okay. I move. Are you here? No. Okay. That was the game.
Yeah.
And you know the funny part is that Scotland Yard was the original.
I was staring at Scotland Yard when you said it.
Yeah. This is the better game,
Upside down.
and has been around for eons. It's one we used to play when I was a lot younger on New Year's Eve all the time. That is the original, in my opinion, original hidden movement game that is so much better. Because of one simple fact. There is no, are you here? Because here's the thing with Whitehall Mystery, and I can't remember if it is the same with Letters from Whitechapel. I don't think it is, but maybe it is. But here's the thing. In Whitehall Mystery, you as a cop move here. If Jack the Ripper is around, he's not on the same spot as you. He is either here, 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 or here. So you never end up landing on him by virtue of luck and finding him that way. You have to be like, okay, I'm here. Are you here? No. But I could have been in any one of those other 3 locations.
There's another game called Automata, which is very similar, but it's like a $15 game and it's just card based.
It's bad. It's like they took the worst ideas for a hidden movement game and made it worse. I just don't know why.
Yeah.
It instantly one playthrough and it ended up in the never will play again.
Really?
It's gone.
But that should be in your never will play again.
I know.
See, mine. Anyway, that was your number 4.
That was my number 4.
My number 4.
That was my number 5. That was number 4.
Oh yeah, now it's on to 4. Okay, so my number 4 is, like I said, every one of these has a bit of a story.
Okay.
To make the case why they're, and this one is a strange one. It's Munchkin. And there's a reason why it should never have been made. Because it created there's a couple of things. It created a lot of very annoying cliches.
Right on a stick.
Yeah, it created a lot of annoying cliches. It became this go-to game for a lot of expats that were moving out of D&D and wanted to play a game with their friends. So it ended up becoming it became the Boston Pizza of games. It's like, where do
you don't like a cod piece of allure?
The jokes wear thin. It's like Cards Against Humanity. Eventually, you see everything. And on top of that, and this is the other thing, it got so popular. Steve Jackson Games, which was a pen and paper role-playing game, dumped every dime into Munchkin.
Yep.
They dumped every penny to the point where they do not support they may claim it, but they do not support their other titles. Like they got,
I miss GURPS.
They got on the map because of GURPS, and they don't give a crap about any of their other titles. Like there are, even if you add up all the different Munchkins that have come out, there are still more GURPS books, and it seems like they've punted their pen and paper because now it's all about the Munchkin empire. They've made a trading card game. They've made variations of Munchkin. Hell, there's a Munchkin version of Castle Panic. And I really wish that game didn't exist because I think that it's a worse version of these kind of annoying. Like I find those card games annoying anyway. And there's a lot of ones coming out which got better mechanics or are more enjoyable that are funnier. Like I have issues with some of the oatmeal games, but they're funnier.
Fair enough.
So that's my number 4 pick, Munchkin. I'm sure it has a place in a lot of people's hearts, but if someone's erased Munchkin from history, there's not a single positive memory I keep. Yeah, there was I have won a couple games, but that win pales in comparison to other games. That's my number 4 pick.
So my number 4 is a game that was designed and developed by a teacher to teach his students spatial relativity, I believe.
No.
And it's a horrible game because there is no point to it.
My fiance, I showed my fiance this game.
Yeah.
Hey, honey, you want this? And she was like, no, I don't. I'm like, wait, what? Really? Look at all the stuff. And she's like, no, it looks like crap. I go, but everyone's been saying it's a good game. She's like, it looks boring. I'm like,
it is.
Huh? And that is
Santorini. Yep. That is my number 4. It should never have been made because while I understand it was used as a teaching tool,
it should have stayed.
That's where it should have stayed. It's not a board game. There's no point to it as a board game. It is so not a board game. Like, I'm sorry, but I would move my builder up here so I can build another level. Why? Because I can. Okay. Well, why can't that guy do it? Because what? Because your other guy's standing on the roof.
Yeah, the rules are very arbitrary. But yeah, we've seen it for sale. Here's it. You know it's a game I will never buy when it was sold on discount at EB Games.
Yeah.
Like quite literally, it was like a reduction price for like $25. I'm like, still not gonna buy it.
Yeah. I don't know why it got such a huge following, other than the fact that it is about a real place. But actually, here's the
which
thing.
is beautiful, by the way. Santorini.
Santorini is
got
beautiful. Yes.
And I think it's because
The
parents saw it as a way.
Well, the original edition was beautiful. Because the original edition had an actual floating island.
Yes.
And then Roxley Games published it, and poof, gone.
Yeah. I saw that. I was like, that's a beautiful game.
That is
And then I saw the production copy. I'm like, was that what I saw?
No, what it was is that originally it was the beautiful one, and then the production got bought out by Roxley Games, and they went, yeah, no.
No, we don't. That's unnecessary.
Yeah.
So that is your number 4 pick.
Yeah.
My number 3 pick is another kind of place marker for a lot of ideas. It's one of those situations where it should never have been made, and that is the opinion of probably the people who published it. Like, boy, that shouldn't have been made. And that is Valerian Alpha Missions.
So why do we want to review this game?
Because here's the best part. It's not a bad game.
Okay.
It's actually not a bad game. It's a very simple
And this is based off Valerian.
Valerian and the City of a Thousand Planets. And
Yeah,
the reason
right.
why I think it shouldn't have been made was it's kind of like all those video game adaptations of movies.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you gotta have a video game adaptation for your game, but everyone complained. They're all bad. They are always so bad. Nobody likes any of those games. They're done very, very quickly. So they're just horrible games. But then somebody comes out and goes, hey, what about this Chronicles of Riddick, Escape from Butcher Bay? And you're like, wow, this game is amazing. And literally, it changed the scope of gaming because everyone's mind was blown that somebody actually made a good video game based on a movie franchise, because until then, no one had made one. Valerian is not a bad game. It's incredibly simple. You're like, you're going to play that game and go, that's it? I go, it's pretty simple. But but so is Star Trek 5-Year Mission. That game is simple as well. We enjoy it.
Yeah.
But the point is that the guys who made it are probably like, oh, so yeah, that film, it's okay, isn't it? Yeah. How much money did it lose? Like, how many copies of Valerian did we make? Yeah. How many people are going to want a game based on a movie that failed?
You know, the weird thing about that movie is the main actor is a very distinct actor. Like, the first time he talks, I'm just like, that voice should not be coming out of that body.
I think he's a good actor, and he's done good roles. He'll do good roles again.
Yeah.
The first I think the first 20 minutes of that film is amazing. Mm-hmm. And then I don't think it runs off the rails. I'm just like, what it actually is, if you're going into talk about the movie, what the movie is like 5 graphic novels that aren't really connected, that somebody pieced together 5 stories and looped them all together into one. And if you watch it that way, you can make sense. You can see the episodes of it. These little 20-minute vignettes that pop in and out. But that still being said, the sinew, the connective tissue doesn't make a lot of sense. The acting, the main cast, I think she's good. I think he is miscast. They should have had somebody else.
Yeah.
And it's just it gets a bit too weird. But it doesn't change the fact that the first 5 minutes is probably some of the best filmmaking.
Oh, yeah.
The first 5 minutes is amazing. But doesn't change the fact that it lost more than $100 million. It's kind of like, this is a video game based on that movie Stealth. Remember Stealth? Now, I like Stealth, but it lost $80 million. You're right? And it's like this. I mean, look, guys, I want to make a board game based around, oh god, what's a film that
That bombed?
that bombed badly?
What was it? Mario and Luigi.
No, Mario Brothers. Yeah, but Mario Brothers, you can just say I'm making a Mario Brothers game. Funny thing, I can say I want to make a John Carter board game, and someone's like, "Oh yeah, that's based on a classic franchise." I go, "Yeah, but
No, Gods of Egypt. There you go.
There we go. That's
There you
it.
go. That's it.
That's it.
Gods
That's
of
it. Gods of Egypt, the board game. And if someone came out and was like, are you sure you want to spend money on this? Now, what's really funny, though, is that I would bet you that would probably make more money than the movie. Because someone's like, wait a second. You have giant, like, epically large Egyptian, like, miniatures moving across this landscape, fighting creatures and so forth. someone would pay that. I would buy that, and you're like, and someone's like, it's based on a movie. Like, really? I should watch this movie. And they're like, no, don't, please don't. Just block the game. Ignore the movie. Then why is it called Gods of Egypt? Because look, just forget it. Okay. So Valerian is like that. It didn't lose as much money. It lost a lot of money. It didn't lose as much as Gods of Egypt. Gods of Egypt really just.
I really wish she would be in more stuff because I don't know, good looking actress.
In Valerian?
Yeah.
Oh, she's fantastic. She was in Suicide Squad. There's another.
Who is she in?
She's the primary villain.
Oh, is she really?
Yeah.
Oh wow.
She trust me. One thing about Valerian is that the actors will do fine. Right.
Yeah.
All right. So that is my number 3 pick, Valerian Alpha Missions.
Okay, my number 3 has a story, and that is it's a very short story
of a man named David.
Yep. And many other people. This game, from what I understand, almost bankrupted the studio.
Oh, they probably wish they didn't make it then.
If they had made it now or even last year, it probably would have made millions. Golem Arcana. Made by Harebrained Schemes. Same guys who did Shadowrun Hong Kong and Shadowrun.
Yeah.
RPGs. It is a game where it paired with your app or device, it has stylus.
Yeah.
Which you actually then scan the minis,
yeah.
Scan the board, moved it, you would see it all happen, and yeah, they ended up doing the Kickstarter. They tried to do some.
When did this come out?
I think it was 2011 or 12.
Well, that's about 5 years too early.
Yeah, exactly. That's the sad part. If it had come out now, with all the app integrated games, it'd be great. It's up there on the shelf. Those are all the minis up there.
No, I was actually looking for something else because you brought up app driven. I'm like, where's U-Boat?
Oh, it's right there.
That's a much smaller box than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah. So yeah, me too. But yeah, so if it had came out now, I think it would have done beautifully.
I think it would have done a lot better because people are embracing that now.
Yeah. And the thing was, the people were, because the stupid part is that you could build your armies. So it was like app-driven Warhammer. So this is my 500-point army. Let's build a scenario. You bring yours. Cool. We both log in. You log in. We put our armies in there, and boom, preloads. And you had relics and the knights that rode the golems. It was
me.
Yeah, it was epic. It would have done well, but it hurt the company so badly that they...
Are they under? Are they done?
No, they're still doing stuff, like they've gone back to their RPGs and stuff.
Oh, yeah?
But...
Because they're doing a new Shadowrun. I think they just announced it.
Yeah, they've gone back to video games. They were like, nah, let's not do that ever again, type kind of thing.
So that's
my number 3, Golem Arcana.
My number 2 is going out into the economics of what I consider to be like kind of sleazy production.
Okay, fair enough.
Mine...
Oh, is it Kingdom Death Monster?
No, that's too easy a target. No, that almost got on my list. Kingdom Death Monster was just like, well, that almost hit my epic list.
But I feel like
I don't have enough.
And you can edit this out. I almost feel like Kingdom Death Monster should have shipped with an Onaho.
A what?
Onaho.
Oh wow.
Yeah, you can edit that out.
No, I don't think I will. Anyway, so
you know what that is. That's the sad part.
No, don't. Let's not go into the conversation. Anyway, so number 2. You have to understand. Until I met my fiance, I was single for a very long time. My number 2 is Carcassonne.
Oh.
Specifically. So, Carcassonne classic game, I think it started a whole genre, and then it came out with expansions.
Yeah.
And some of them started to suck after a very short time. Then they came out, so because these are too many expansions. There's too many expansions. So let's release standalone games. So they started releasing standalone games in the South Seas and Amazonas.
Star Wars is pretty good.
And the Star Wars game. And when they ran out of ideas, they just released Carcassonne and go, what's going to be different about this next Carcassonne? We got to release a Carcassonne game this year. Why? Because it's whatever year, and we've got to release Carcassonne.
You gotta make a new big box.
Yeah. No, big box, but like we have to do another standalone Carcassonne. Okay.
No, that's what. So they can make a new big box.
Well, the standalones don't have the big box. The big box have the base game with expansions. The standalones are standalones.
Oh yeah, but every year it seems like
Yeah, every few years they do a big box, but the standalones are never in the big box. So they thought, hey, I have an idea. Let's just make base Carcassonne and set it in winter. Okay, what do we do with the rules? Nothing. What do we do with the gameplay? Nothing.
That sounds all like the Stone Age Anniversary Edition.
Yeah, so Carcassonne Winter Edition is the core game of Carcassonne with snow. They didn't change a single tile other than the art design. They didn't change a single rule, not a single mechanic. It is identical to base Carcassonne, it's just white.
Okay, Stone Age isn't that bad.
They did nothing. They added nothing to the equation. They simply redressed it in white and re-released it. And I even have it in my review. It was the last one I did. It was just like, and Carcassonne replaces all the mechanics of all the other editions, and it's just basic Carcassonne set in snow. And that's it. It's just base Carcassonne. It's like white. It's like they're not even trying. So yeah, you're not even trying.
Stone Age has igloos at least.
Yeah, I think Carcassonne, literally, it's the same tiles. They just made it white. To my knowledge, I do believe even the tiles arrangement, that the roads, they're exactly the same. They took the world of Carcassonne and simply changed the season.
So somebody went in Photoshop and went color replace white.
No, they did some effort of actually putting the snow on there properly. It wasn't like literally just altered because they put snow patches on the buildings and so forth. But that doesn't change the fact that it's just the core game is just white. They're just grabbing people's money.
Yeah.
So that's the reason why it should. That's why it's so high on its list. Go-Go Eskimo is just racist. I can ignore it. But Winter Edition, I'm like, you guys are cheap bastards because you just made a game, you presented it, and people just bought it like blind rolls. So that's my number 2 bet, Carcassonne Winter Edition.
My number 2 game has been on other lists, and I promise this is the last time I'm going to bring it up.
Okay. Sorry.
Because
there we go.
You know, I think Tom Vassell covered it well enough.
Okay.
I disagree with Graham, with Graham, whatever his name is from Dice Tower.
I thought this was going to be it was going to be on one of these 2 lists.
Yeah, I can't. The part that blows me away is you watch Tom's review of this game, and it's perfectly on par. He's like, the game is a mess. It's horrible. It's just no. Then you watch the other guy from the Dice Tower. It's like, it's a pretty good game. I'm like, are we playing the same game? And the part that blows me away is that this other guy from the Dice Tower, he said...
Have you buried it into the back?
No, it's gone.
Where'd it go? You sold it?
I know.
Threw it out? Wow!
Oh, yeah, it's gone.
Didn't even give a chance to roll it over.
No,
I have friends.
Yeah,
None of you guys are playing this.
Nope. But the other guy from the Dice Tower said...
I didn't know you did that. Holy crap, dude.
Take
my hat off to you.
He almost was like he saw Tom's review and he's like, I must defy Tom.
And
come up with reason. His number one...
Which is funny because my Nemesis review is the same thing.
I know.
Because my Nemesis review is just like, okay, enough with the comparing Nemesis to Alien. It's just a space horror. We can have multiple movies and games.
But in his review, he said that the game is good because right near the end, it can come down to, oh, I really need this cube, but I don't have it. Oh, you really need just one cube to win. And you really need just one cube to win. And then it's just, oh, who can pull that cube first?
That's not a game.
That's not a game!
That's completely random.
Game, Graham!
It's okay.
That frustrates me.
You know the funny thing? You haven't said the name of the game yet.
Master of the Galaxy. And because
I was like looking for map. Where the hell is your map?
It's gone.
It used to be like right here.
No, it ended up over in the Shelf of Shame, and then it's gone because we don't have a Shelf of Shame anymore.
Yeah, because even some of your crap titles, I sometimes actually think are not bad. So I was like, I could have picked up a couple of them. Like, no, friends don't let friends play.
No, it's that game is not a game. There's so many things that are wrong with how that game was done.
Because then if I had a chance to play it, I could be like, we could be like brothers in hate.
Oh, yeah.
Like, dude, play this. What? Just play it. And you're like, this game's horrible. Yes, thank you.
Oh, yeah.
You can still be my friend.
So that's my number 2. I've talked about it enough. Graham, you're wrong. I don't know why. That's not a game. That's not a game mechanic. And it is not enjoyable. And if you really want a game that's just, who can pull the last cube they need first?
Yeah.
Go play Yahtzee. Go.
Alchemistry is like that, and I gave that game a crappy review, but that game only cost like $25.
But that's not even a game, though. That's just...
Yeah, well, Alchemistry, I gave a negative review too as well.
That's like gambling. So maybe that's what the person...
Yeah, put some money on it. Maybe you'll enjoy the game.
Yeah.
All right, number 1.
Number 1. 1, 2, 3.
Wrapping paper.
All right.
Good even mix now.
My number 1. This is where we're going to cut to a video.
Tentacles. They've fascinated humans for centuries and picked up an unsavory reputation along the way. But what if you could have a consensual encounter with tentacles? Consenticle is a card game for 2 players about trust, communication, and intimacy. In Consenticle, you and your partner work together to help a sensitive alien and a curious human have a mutually fulfilling romantic encounter. Grab some trust tokens, red for the human, blue for the alien. Your goal is to turn those trust tokens into as many purple satisfaction tokens as possible. Every turn, you'll each choose a card to play, then reveal your choices at the same time. What happens next depends on those cards. You might earn some more trust, or play cards that let you move your trust tokens into a shared pool. Once you've pooled some trust, you can transform pairs of red and blue trust tokens into purple satisfaction tokens. And playing a release card lets you take that satisfaction for yourself. But don't forget your partner's desires. If the 2 cards you play create a combo, you may get a boost of trust or satisfaction, or a penalty, slowing the good times down. You've got to coordinate. Sound simple? There's a catch. Humans and aliens don't speak the same language. In Consenticle, you're not allowed to talk out loud about what cards are in your hand. You can make suggestive noises or gestures, or for a challenge, just stare deeply into your partner's eyes. To sharpen your consent skills, you can also play a practice game where you speak out loud. So how was it? Count your satisfaction tokens and consult the score chart to find out. The next version of Consenticle will have more cards, artwork, and advanced rules. Help make it happen and get your copy on Kickstarter.
Are you shitting me? See, now the moment is spoiled. Everyone knows.
No, you'll be able to edit it properly. Because, no, I'm not shitting you. That's a game. And it's called Consenticle. It is a game that was on Kickstarter that got made. And it is about a girl named...
My title...
Nyx, I believe.
Oh,
who
I actually think I know this title.
Who ends up encountering an alien called Nook, I believe it is. And it's about her consent to hentai.
I have heard of this.
Oh yeah.
It got popular. It got known and passed around in the same reason why Hate got passed around, because like, oh dude, you got to see this trailer.
Mm-hmm. That game should never have been made.
Yeah.
The fact that there's cards on them that say penetrate.
Oh yeah, I know.
And you see the tentacles coming out of her mouth,
yeah.
But they aren't going in the mouth to come out of the mouth.
Yeah. Yep, I know. Oh god, that was... I don't know, like that. It was like a year and a half, 2 years ago?
It's a year ago.
Yeah.
But you can still buy a print and play version of it too.
Did it fund?
It funded.
Yeah, so you should be able to get it at retail. Maybe. Maybe in the adult section of a calendar. A calendar and go.
Yeah.
So
that's Consenticle. We shall talk no more of it. The video said it all.
My number 1 pick, I don't know if I can top that, is a game that it shouldn't exist because it's... I spent a long time analyzing this game.
Okay.
Trying to see if it was a good game that was trying to make a point or was a bad game that failed at making its point. And ultimately it came to the decision that because it compromised on what it was trying to do, it failed at adaptation, it failed at being a board game, and it failed at being art. So it shouldn't have been made because it simply shouldn't exist And that's this
War of mine.
This war of mine. Because this war of mine, there's a 45-minute video on Dice Tower, which you can see, which I spend analyzing where that game succeeded and failed. And it succeeded in the fact that it did what the video game was wasn't willing to do, and that was compromise the game mechanics to give you a brutal experience that's not fun. The problem with the video game is that it's too enjoyable. It is a good game. Despite what the reviews will say, that say this game will make you hate yourself, this game will make you feel like it's being in a war, it is too well made. It is too well designed by game designers that like making enjoyable games to make that game unfun. It's fun in spite of itself, right? This game wants to make it feel war, but the game is too enjoyable but the board game said, you know what? We're going to take that fun away and just make a depraved and negative experience. And by doing that, they compromised the game. So it's not really a game. The problem is that they didn't compromise it enough, and it should have just been an art piece. Mm-hmm. Just make an art piece, put it in an art museum. Don't put it on Kickstarter. Don't make people buy it. Don't put it in a board game retail place. It should be something that teachers whip out to show their kids. In the same way you talked about Santorini, right? This War of Mine should not have been a game that got pushed to retailers. It should be an educational. It should be an educational tool, and that is all. Because people look at board games and they want to have some measure of fun.
Yes.
And this game is not fun.
No.
But the problem, the reason why it fails again, because you couldn't put it into a teacher in classroom, because then it compromises itself, because it doesn't deal with the really difficult parts of religious extremism, slavery, and the sexual abuse that occurs in wartime. They decided to exclude those because they felt they couldn't sell the game. And that was the video game's decision, because they wanted to make a fun game. The board game decided to follow suit. So in their attempts to make the game brutal, they still held back. So it's a failure as art because it's not showing you the true atrocities of war. So it's a failure as art and a failure as a game. Therefore, it does not deserve. It's not the worst game ever. I have played games that are way worse. If I was listing the top 20 worst games of all time, it wouldn't be on that list. But it is on this list as the number one game that shouldn't exist because it is a failure on every aspect of what it's trying to do.
Yep.
So that's my number one pick, This War of Mine.
All right, so going back, that was number 5 for me. It was Whitehall Mystery. Don't know why. They made the game smaller. It was probably fine before. Number 4 is Santorini. It should have stayed an educational piece. Number 3 was Golem Arcana. Way before its time, and it probably would have done great now. Number 2 is the name gave a game that shall not be
The
mentioned
Macbeth of board games.
There you go. And number 1 is Consenticle. Oh.
Say it like that, baby. Number 5 is Go Go Eskimo. Number 4, Munchkin. Don't name your game Go Go Eskimo. God. Number 3, Valerian Alpha Missions. Ooh, only if it made money. Number 2 is Carcassonne Winter Edition. You're just trying to take our money. And number 1 is This War of Mine, a failure of both art and game. I have been Chris.
And I've been Dave. Remember, the rules are just suggestion, but at least make them make sense.
Okay.